I'm muted, and that's how you can tell that I haven't done one of these in a while. Obviously, I've been away. Um, I've been caring to my missus. She's pregnant, so all that stuff. So I'm expecting to start my family. So it's been all up in the air, but now I'm back on track. I'm going to be back with videos. I've got two guests with me. I've got my boy Hooks.
Come on.
Come on, and I've got my boy Deo. Two positive gooners, I'd say, if that is even a thing. Positive, negative, all these things, but they're gooners like me. We love the club. We all have passion for the club. So yeah, listen, we're gonna get straight into this. Yeah. First of all, boys, what do you think? Can we get not one, but even two major honors this year, in your opinion? Do you think we can get any?
We can. Like we're definitely capable of getting two major honors. Whether we do or not is an entirely different thing. I mean, if I speak specifically about the Premier League, I see no reason as to why we wouldn't push on to go and win it now. I think in my personal opinion, the final kind of hurdle or obstacle is Man City at the Etihad. But if we beat them at the Etihad, in my personal opinion, that removes Man City from the title race, because after that, I can't see Arsenal dropping too many points. Even if you do say, okay, but we still have to go to Man United away, but I think we'll smoke them. We still need to go to Tottenham away. By the way, we're going to smoke them. And we've still
That's
got
the only
Chelsea.
one that worries me. That's the only one that worries me. That Tottenham
What?
one, man. Honestly, after the City one, apart from the City one, the Tottenham one's the only one that worries me, and it's because it's Tottenham, in it. Like it's also that hope of not losing that one as well, and hating losing or drawing to Spurs. But they're gonna really want to beat us, man. They're really gonna want to stop us winning the title, man.
Nah, man. F them guys, man. I
You know,
don't think.
that's the same drive we should have. We know we should. It's like you're going there knowing that they really want to stop you, so you're going to have to go there knowing I'm going to have to stop you. It's like I know you want to stop me from winning, right? Because you don't like me. You're Tottenham, we're Arsenal. You just don't like what we stand for. We don't like what you stand for. Great stuff, right? So I'm not going
Yeah,
to go in there saying, "Oh well, let me just play my best game." No, I'm playing my best game times 100 because I have to massacre you. Like I literally have to score 4 in the first half to shut you up. Like I'm not trying to come here and play no game. So if we go there with that same mentality, hopefully, fingers crossed. And the thing is with a bit of luck, man, because regardless of how good we are, we saw this in the FA Cup against Liverpool. We saw this against West Ham, in the season. We played very well. All stats, everything pointing in our direction. The luck just wasn't there. We didn't take our chances. We were not clinical enough. And those little mistakes can cost us. So, but the way this team is set up right now, if we can't say as Arsenal fans now that at this point, like, you know what, this team is good enough to win the league. If we can't say it now, then when do we want to say it? Like they've showed us everything. They're showing the same metal that Man City is showing and Liverpool is showing. Meanwhile, everybody's like, oh, Man City can win, Liverpool can win. But we're showing the same metal. We're literally showing the exact same things. But people are basing it they're looking at Arsenal based on the old Arsenal. I'm putting on that goggles to judge
Yeah,
Arsenal. If that is the case, let's put on the same old goggle for Liverpool too. They
yeah,
bottled it 5 times against Man City.
yep,
We can put on that same goggles and look at Liverpool and be like, hey, guess what? Fine, you won it once, but you bottled it 5 times, so you might bottle it again the 6th time. Like it doesn't work that way. I see us growing, and I'm happy. I'm just happy that we're not the mud anymore, and we are now competing. So
listen, Dave, 100%. Do you know what the thing is? First of all, shout out Vicky. She's seen us on Footy Judge Mo. Shout out Mo every time, and thanks for tuning in. But yeah, listen, I agree with a lot of what you say. Now, the thing is with me and like certain other gooners, I think I know what you're saying about the goggles, and I can sometimes feel that I've got that PTSD of Arsenal, but I feel like that's why this first title we need to get it, man. We need it because it will change everything for this football club. Winning the league one time will completely change the trajectory of this
it will.
football. Because
It will.
for me, everyone will stop being like it's nothing. is a must win anymore. You know, you want to win, of course. We're gonna have seasons where we're gonna go, we've got to win this league, but it's not like we're not gonna be as desperate for it. We're gonna say, cool, we're on the right track. If we miss out next season to Man City, it is what it is because we have that one in the bag. This is where
very true.
This is where
I think
people can't give all the credit. This is where people now are scared.
I know, I agree with you, and that's justified, man. I felt that same way for a long time. But let me tell you what changed my mentality. I looked at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. People made fun of us for just making top 4. Nobody talked about a title race in Arsenal's name. There was not title race attached to our name. It was always about, oh, you got top 4, just yeah. And then when we didn't make the top 4 for a long time, people made fun of us even more on a lower level. Now they're not able to banter me on Europa or top 4. They're literally saying you bottled the title once. We bottled it once against City. Once. I mean, like, this is insane that Liverpool bottled it 5 times. Nobody talks about it, but we bottled it once against City, and suddenly they want to banter us on that one bottling. Like, oh, we bottled this 7 times back to back. We've not been in this race more than 18 months. And that's the part that kills me. So it's like, I'm like, we're now at the table for the first time last season where we were competing for a title, and we bottled it. Yes, I agree. We were at the top for the longest time. We messed it up. We could have won it, but we did not.
And that's the problem.
For me, that was the first time, though. Giuseppe, my point is, it's not like 2 years before that we were doing it, or 3 years before that we were doing it, or 4 years before that we weren't even in the race for it. This was the first time last season. And so for me, it was like, okay, what did we do wrong? Being there in the first time after 2003, really competing for a title, what did we do wrong? And then we looked at it, and then this season, I looked at what they were doing, and I'm like, you know what? This team seems to be a lot more mature this season. Yeah. They're acting and playing a lot more mature. I'm not seeing that childish team of last season that thought they could blow everybody away and they could gas it all the way beginning to end. They're maintaining in-game management. Players are slowing down. You see players like Odegaard sometimes walking and just pointing and saying, hey, last season it was all run. And I was like, so I'm seeing that, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this new addition to the skill set they have will get us over the line. Let's see, But this is our second time, man, like literally trying to challenge in the last 2 years. And I think for people to then, bring down the hammer, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, the thing is, it's because when we had to bottle it, we had to do the almighty bottle job. Like, do you know what I mean? We had to do the most, like, the thing. But Hook's gone. Talk to me, brother, because I can see you disagreeing with a lot of what's getting said.
Let's stop this incorrect rhetoric. Yeah. Yes, we failed. We failed in not winning the Premier League, just as 18 other teams failed in winning the Premier League. But we did not bottle the Premier League because nobody thought
give us a chance
anyway. Nobody thought it was in our hands anyway. At no point did anybody say that Arsenal are the favourites. So if Arsenal are not the favourites, how can we bottle the league? All we was doing in everybody's mind was keeping top spot warm for Man City, who was going to click on, power up, charge up, and then go on and win the league. That's
what they said.
Looks, but I think we become the favourite. This is where I've got to say, though, when we were up there and we got that big gap, we then become the favourites, and that's what people.
It wasn't a big gap.
For us,
it wasn't a big gap.
Also, big up T.
TK, for us, the fans, yeah, maybe in our minds we became the favorites, maybe in our minds. But if you listen to every pundit, they said the same thing. They said, come January, come February, City is going to pick up and City is going to catch up and City is going to win. City has a game in hand. There was all of this rhetoric. People start bringing up 93% and this and that. And yeah, they're right. These are facts. Like, we were there for 93%, right? But the point still remains, nobody at the beginning of the season gave us a chance to even be there. They said we would not make top 6. That's what everybody said at the beginning of the season. All of a sudden, we're in the running, and now you want to make us the favorites overnight. I'm like, you don't do that to people. You can't turn around and say, this team is crap. This team is not going to make top 6. And then when the team kicks on and looks like they're trying to do something right, you then say, oh, they are the favorites. If they lose it, they bottle it. That's kicking the can down the road. Like, it's either we're the favorites from the very beginning, you say Arsenal's going to win this, and when we bottled it, you say we bottled it, which is what you would say to Man City, because Man City is categorized as the favorite to win anyways. So if they don't win it, Man City bottled it. It's in their, they're the current winners. It's in their hands.
Well,
So
listen,
for me,
I believe. Sorry, bro.
that rhetoric, I'm trying to erase that rhetoric. I think it's bad for the club. I think
Very
it's
bad.
not a good look because people then start to say, "Oh, it's because you're used to failing." No, I want my club to succeed. I have standards for the club, but I'm not going to let anybody rewrite the narrative of what the club is about. This club
Yeah.
3 years ago was not competing for trophies. This club 4 years ago was not competing for anything. This club 5 years ago was zero. 2 years ago, when we literally started the running for, like, when we started beating teams last season, all of a sudden, everybody, including fans who said, "Oh, I don't think Mikel Arteta should last longer than this season," we're like, "Oh, we stand a chance. Oh, we're the favorites now." I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why are you giving yourself a false narrative? We're doing good. We built something. We're going somewhere. We're contending for titles now, which is where we want to be. We're back in the Champions League round of 8 for the first time in 14 years. And everybody, instead of saying, "Oh, you know what? This is crazy. We're in the running. We get a chance to try and win something." Instead of saying that, they all keep going, just like when Bayern beat us 10-2 the last time. Is this the same Bayern team we're meeting? Do you see Ribery or Robben on the pitch? Do you see any of the old Arsenal players on the pitch here? Do you see Wenger? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That's where I draw the line. Like, I love my team. I love what we're doing. I love the fact that we built a new set of squad, new boys. I love where they're going. They're giving me more hope that we can win way more than any other time.
Yeah.
Way more than any other time.
Bro.
This team
by
gives
the
me
way,
hope that we can win something.
I've said it from a couple weeks ago. If Liverpool don't win the league this season, they've bottled it. If they've majorly bottled, if people are going to have to get on to Liverpool if they don't win the league this season, because they are 5-6 points ahead of us and City. Yeah, they've got the easiest running now till the end of the season. So if Liverpool don't win the league this season, Klopp's last year, they've got all that. I believe they've bottled it. And I know people will say the injuries and that they haven't got injuries now. They got past the period of injuries. If they had fallen off then, that might have been different. But now with this last run, if Liverpool don't win the league, I think they've bottled it this season. I don't think we will bottle it. I don't think this season will count as us bottling it if we don't win the league. I don't believe that unless we go and lose like 3-4 games. That I don't think will happen. But on the original point, by the way, I want to shout out some of these comments in it because they cook some. Doesn't matter if we're top for 93% of the season and didn't win. That's a bottle. 100%.
You know what? Yeah. Now, just on that.
That's
just on that. Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah, that people will troll us. Yeah, Arsenal for being top of the league for 93% and failing the final 7%. When everybody says, and everybody said last season, it doesn't actually matter that Arsenal's top because the business end doesn't start until the end of March, which is the 7% that we dropped out from. So I just find it very, 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 very interesting. It's like with Arsenal, and can't win. Arsenal's never allowed to win.
Yeah.
In no scenario is Arsenal allowed to win.
Yeah, listen, I agree to an extent of this stuff of like people on us.
Yeah, do you remember when Liverpool was 10 points ahead of City and they lost the season that year? Nobody's talked about that season and called Liverpool a bottle job. Nobody. 10 points.
Listen, we know
10.
that.
Listen.
We know that we're hated, right?
So my point is, like, with Arsenal is just it, and I get it. I totally understand why they do it. They just don't like us. It's cool. Another thing I'd say is, Vicky's right. Expectations change. She's right. But there's a difference between expecting to win and having the capacity to win. We didn't have the capacity last season. You can expect to win because you're on top or because you're leading, but if you don't have the capabilities and the capacity, you're not going to get over that line, regardless of what you do. City had the capacity and the capabilities. They had the squad depth, the manpower. They had the coach. Like, Arteta is 4 years a senior coach. Do people realize that is nothing in the coaching world? He has no experience. 4 years, and he's in the Champions League round of 8, and second time in 4 years, challenging for a title. So that means in his 4 years, he's challenged for a title twice, and he's got into the Champions League round of 8 once. Like, that is a mad stat for a coach that is 4 years in the job. That's number one. Number two is capacity. Now we look at the Arsenal team and you look at the bench. I mean, I am excited about what we have right now because I'm like, if you tell me that Saliba gets hurt, I'm not afraid. Tomiyasu can play center back. Ben White can play center back. Timber can come back in right there. We can bring in Kiwior. Kiwior can play. Like, we have people to fill for people. Last season, we got injured with Saliba, Rob Holding against Man City. Please tell me what capacity we had in that department and in all the other departments.
We did have Kiwior. We did have Kiwior.
I know, but he wasn't. Yeah, but he hadn't kicked in. He just came. Like, you have to realize that the blending time as well. Okay, right now, if Odegaard gets injured, I know everybody's saying Fabio Vieira, but we've seen what Fabio can do, and we know that he's got flashes. I'm not saying he's going to replace him, but we know that he can hold 15, 20 minutes. Right? He can come in and do a job.
As well.
Yeah, he can come in and do a job. You know. Yeah. So for me, I'm excited. I'm excited about the team. I think we have better capacity now. We have Declan, Jorginho. We have Thomas Partey in that 6th role. Declan can also go on the 8th role. So you know, we have people that can fill and just do a job. My point is just do a job. Like, it's a squad. If I need to bring you in for 10 minutes to just make sure all you can do is keep the ball because you're technical and you can hold the ball away from the opponent, do it. Do your job. Don't allow them score. We've won by 1-0. We move on. This idea that everybody wants the team to be flashy. Arteta is not making us play free-flowing football. It's not great. Arteta out. I'm like, what are you asking for again? You asked the man to win. He's in the running to win. So what else do you want from him?
For me, listen, I don't care as long as we win. As long as we win, man. And it ain't every week poor performances, I don't mind the odd game where we don't. That's why the Porto one, I'm not too hung up on it. Like, it did annoy me, and it has made me a bit more nervous for the Bayern game. But
why?
No one's going to be sad about that result if we beat Bayern and we go through again, you know. So no one's going to think back to the Porto game. But back to the original question. So you two, if you have to say it now, do you think we're going to win a major honour this season? And if we are, what do you think we're going to win? You might think we're going to win both of them.
See, so many people want me to put my neck on the line. Yeah, I feel like every stream I go on to, they want me to put my neck on the line. But do you know what? I think
put your neck on the line. Put it, brother.
Yeah.
Put it, Hooks.
You know, the thing is, this is the whole game. This is the game, bro. Like, listen, if you ain't doing that in football,
it's crazy. But the thing is, this is why it's difficult now, because I actually believe that we can do something this season. Last season, I didn't believe, like, at all. I didn't think we was going to win the Premier League. Not at one moment throughout the whole season did I think we was going to win the Premier League. Not at one moment. And then when, but do you know why? See, and this is why I don't, and this is probably why I don't reflect back on last season as negatively as other people, because I never believed. And then when Tomiyasu and Saliba got injured, from then I knew like even 1,000,000%, I knew that everything was going to crumble.
Sporting Lisbon, as soon as Saliba got injured at Sporting Lisbon and they took him out, once Saliba went out of that game, I said to myself, I said, we're done. There's nobody to cover for this dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's done.
That was the one thing that I kept on looking at. I was like, because I was saying to myself last season, right, Hooks, I was like, Liverpool is not kicking on. Chelsea is not kicking on. Man U is really not kicking on. It's only Man City, right? But the difference between us and Man City last season is Man City had a lot of depth. That squad was just too crazy. Like, if they took out anybody and put Riyad Mahrez in, you knew he was going to do a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they removed Gundogan and put somebody else in, like, you expected a job to be done. But I looked at the Arsenal bench and I was like, we have nobody that can come in and do a job, you know. But then come this season, even if we choose to leave Kai on the bench and bring him in, we know that he can do a job to a certain extent now. He showed us that he has some kind of capacity. If we bring in Leandro Trossard, we know he can do a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody we're bringing off the bench now, I know that we have people that can kind of do a job. So I'm a little more excited about this season. And I think for me, City this season, their bench is still good. But if they take out De Bruyne and bring in Kovacic, it's a drop-off for me. Like, you can see the drop-off. I mean, there's a difference in what they play, but it's a drop-off. So I know that they're still favorites as regards to, like, because they've been they're the current champions. But I would stick my neck out and say this season we win the Premiership. This season we win the Premiership. That I would stick my head out for.
Yeah, I could. Do you know what? Yeah, I could more safely stick my neck out on the line and say we'll win the Premier League. However, I think that we have potentially a very amazing opportunity to win our first ever Champions League. And the reason why I say that is because we've got Bayern, obviously a hard team. I don't think they're playing so great this season, but they're still a hard team. They still got quality throughout their squad. And if we beat them, we go on to then either play Man City or Real Madrid. I personally think Real Madrid are going to knock out Man City this season. So I think we'll play Real Madrid. See, now, the thing is, if I was to play Real Madrid in a final, I would be more scared than playing them over 2 legs, because I believe that Arsenal this season have shown they are able to not only dominate teams at their home ground, but they are able to frustrate teams away from home as well. And I think that we could definitely go to the Bernabeu and say, you know what? We're going to let you have the ball. We're going to sit back and we're just going to wait for you to overextend yourself, and then we're going to break away on the counter. And we'll happily play that way. So, and then if you think about it, who other than Atletico Madrid, who I think would be a lot scarier over 2 legs, I don't think we would really fear Atletico Madrid in the final, personally. So I don't think there's on the other side that is scarier than at least we're facing it on the side.
So for me now, I'll say, like I've even said to my mates, I believe that if we get to the Champions League final, I think we win the Champions League this year, because it's at Wembley, and I just don't believe that this club will lose to any of them teams on the other side at Wembley.
At Wembley.
Yeah. No, honestly, but I don't personally think we'll get to the final. That's me personally. I think we'll get. I don't think we get through City or.
Can we dream a little? Are we allowed to dream?
Listen. You can dream. I just don't. I can't see us getting past Real Madrid or Man City personally.
It's a tough one.
It is very tough.
I don't.
It's very tough. This Arsenal team is too tough.
I am rooting for Real Madrid to beat Man City, because I want to face Real Madrid. Like, I generally want this team to face Real Madrid, lose or win, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I want them to face Real Madrid in the Champions League, give them experience. They'll be able to say, listen, if they go there and they put in a good showing and they go out to Real Madrid, but they don't get spanked, they're going to say, you know what? These guys are like the elite of Champions League. The confidence that they're going to give the players will be outstanding. So I want to play Madrid. I don't want to play City. We play them all the time, man. I really don't want to play them. Yeah, man. Bayern's a great. Bayern was like, I don't mind. This is what I say. I now don't mind Arsenal going out of the Champions League against Bayern, against Real Madrid. I'll be pissed. Hold on. Once again, let me rephrase this when I say I don't mind. Yeah. Context is very key to these points. If we get all the way to penalties with Bayern Munich 3-3 and we just about go out to Bayern Munich, you can be pissed, and I will be pissed, and I'll be fuming, but you can't hold that too much against him once again, because as I believe, Bayern Munich are the favourites against Arsenal, in my opinion. I don't care what people can talk about form in the league. There's been many a time where teams finish 6th, 7th in the Premier League and they win the Champions League or other leagues, because it's a different competition, different kettle of fish. Everything's different. So I don't count league form when I look into the Champions League personally. So I believe that Bayern is a tough team, and we're not the favourites. Now, do I think we can beat Bayern? I do. Yeah,
but we have to, because Harry Kane's there, so we can't be we can't let Harry Kane potentially go on to Champions League final.
No, listen. But Bayern Munich don't get.
There's a lot riding on this as well. I mean, there's all of this sentiment with Harry Kane as well. You know, the Tottenham links back to Bayern. Arsenal fans are like, we don't want Harry. No, it's not. Yeah, I know personally, I'm like, I don't want Harry Kane to win anything right now, because I just don't want him. I don't want Tottenham fans to be like, yeah, finally, at least he was our boy and he went off and won something with Bayern. Understandable.
No. Not champion. I don't want him to win to knock. I want to knock him out, but like the league or something, I wanted him to win because it's funny to banter Kane, but then like Tottenham fans are like almost like, I feel there's some Tottenham fans, quite a big selection of Tottenham fans, that are actually happy that he's not winning anything. That's how sour they are. that's sour grapes from them, because I can
That's
see it.
sad.
They're like
That's
sort
sad.
of giggling that he ain't winning anything, because they're like, oh, you left us, and they're still salty after all the years the guy gave them, the golden boots the guy gave them, and they gave him 0 trophies in return.
Yeah, man. They had a
Yeah.
big
You could say
I
the
mean,
Kane
but
curse, man. We're up
but
against the Kane
with
curse,
Bayern,
bro.
with
Knock 'em out.
Bayern, it's a lofty task. It's a lofty task. Nobody is ever going to sit there and be like, oh, we're going to get by. No, but one thing I can say about this team though is, for the first time in a long time, I can look at this team and not be scared. I can respect teams, but not be scared to face them. The Arsenal team of 3 years ago, if we were meeting up with Bayern, I wouldn't even watch the game. I'm not going to lie to you. I won't bother watching it. I'll just watch the highlights because I know they're going. I'm just like, yeah, these boys are not. They don't. They're not. Sorry, excuse me. They're not playing with any. You're not seeing any passion for the club. You're not seeing anything for the team in them. But this current team, I mean, even when we go a goal down against teams, I'm watching the game knowing that we're going to score or we're going to pull, something is going to happen. Like, I've not had this feeling for many years. Where I'm watching an Arsenal team say, you know what, regardless of what happens, we're going to come through this. Against Porto, I thought we were going to be able to wipe Porto out. But then a couple of days before the game or a day before the game, I went up and looked at some Porto games, and I was like, hell no to the no. These guys, yo! I watched a couple of games and I was like, yo, I'm like, yo, we in trouble. That's what I said. I was like, we in trouble. So when we went over there and we were holding them to like a draw, and in the last minute they scored, I was like, because my prayer was hold them to a draw, come to the Emirates, score 2 goals, and let's just move on. Because this team is not the team you want to try to play any games with. Defensively, they will outclass you. They are 3rd in their league, but go look at what they're doing. I watched the game against Benfica. I'm like, they are start and stop. They are dirty. Like, the game is just like, how do you have a total of 19 minutes of the ball in play in a 90-minute game?
Yeah.
19 minutes of the ball in play.
I also don't like people using the narrative of they're 3rd in the league, because if you actually look
it doesn't matter
they started the season really poorly.
Yeah.
And they've actually picked up form now, but they're behind because of how they started. So that's not current reflection always on their current form in that. Also, I do once again, the Champions League is a different
beast,
league. Yeah. So when other teams are like, oh, you're like when people are saying like, oh, you're losing to you're struggling to beat a team that's 3rd in the Portuguese league. I don't like that. We struggle to play against a team that isn't as good as us. Yeah, 100%. That's where I get annoyed with the game. But so you guys think we can win the league?
But it's also the Champions League. You remember, like you said, it's a different beast. So
yeah,
it's a knockout,
and that's why I don't think we can beat Real Madrid yet.
Which is why I said, like, for me, it's a knockout thing. I think every coach should look at tournaments like that or competitions like that and be like, look, I'll do whatever I need to. If I need to play start and stop like Porto with Real Madrid to stop their flow of play, which means every time we get the ball, it's like kick it out to through, stop it, kick it out to get a foul, stop. Like, if you need to stop and start them throughout the whole 90 minutes to just throw them off the game, do it. It's a knockout game. You don't have to go there and show your super classy league form, because it might not translate well. But about the league, I think we win the league this season. I think we do. Fingers crossed, all things being equal. We have one of the longest runs and one of the hardest runs, if not the hardest. I was looking at a couple of things the other day about like the amount of rest days we have in between, and I think that's pretty important. Man City and us have 6 days of rest in between our first, between the 31st and the, give me a second, the 31st and I think the 17th of April. Only 6 days. Like 2 days we play another game, 2 days we play another game. Liverpool has 7 days of rest in between that. That extra 1 day, man, like, people don't realize these things count. Being able to just not have to deal with that extra stress, go get a nice bath, be able to relax, do some light training in the morning, then hit your game the next day. So I pulled up a table that I designed, and I was just like looking at the time in between and the rest times in between, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy. It's crazy. I think we can do it.
I think it's good though.
Go on.
I think it's good to have to not have a lot of rest, I think is a good thing, because I also think that one of the things that made it harder for us last season is when we lost the game, Man City were still playing multiple games, so they were continuing to build up that momentum. But we'd lose a game and then have to wait a whole week to play again, and that loss is kind of, even though you got to get past it, that loss is still going to be on your mind until you play your next game, right? Whereas if we was to lose a game now, we're playing a game in like 2-3 days time, so we cannot, we don't, it's not even possible for us to think about it for too long, because we have to start preparing for the next game. And I think that's something that will help us out throughout the latter part of the season in both the Premier League and the Champions League.
No, I think it's a bit of both. If you haven't got injuries, it's all right. If your players ain't fatigued and that's fine. Having all them games, they can play that. And I think that's why we started this season a bit more slower. I think they thought about this. I think Arteta has thought about this and thought second end of the season we're going to have to fully go for it. So we'll rest more first half of the season. But I've also, like, honestly, after watching the Porto game, I don't expect Arsenal to win the Champions League. I don't actually believe Arsenal have any divine right to win the Champions League. I don't think Arsenal should win the Champions League in the sense, in the big grand scheme of things, because I think that a lot of Arsenal fans, I think we're disrespecting. I might even have been the culprit of this, but after watching the Porto game, I feel like we've been disrespecting the Champions League. Like the way, like, we feel like after all these years of not being in it, we should be winning it the first time we're in it. Like a Pep Guardiola team that wasn't dominating the Premier League didn't take all them years to win it. That's the one thing I got. The league's different for me. That's why I say we need to win the league, because the Champions League is what it is. As long as we do a good showing, I'm happy with that. We've got past that was the round that I needed to get past. After this, for me, is fair game. I just want to see good performances, and I don't want to see them embarrass themselves, anything like that. But past here is all free game for me. I see T's put. I don't know why these things are so big. I don't know how to make it smaller. But yeah, listen, Bayern Munich, we've got enough to beat them. Yeah, the question is, are the players mature enough? And that's, I think, the thing that I don't think we are. And I don't think you can be. Like, it's unfair. It's unfair. It's
well,
like, for example,
you can't tell that until they face Bayern, though. You cannot rate that maturity until they're facing that giant. And that's why I keep telling people, like, it's easy for us to talk about what Bayern can do because we've seen their heritage and we've seen their history behind them. But the unknown is Arsenal. We've not been here before in a long time. So because we're the unknown, why are we saying we don't know if the boys will have the maturity, or they don't? We don't know that until they face Bayern. Dynamo Kiev, hold on. Dynamo Kiev showed up years ago in the Champions League out of nowhere, and won the Champions League. Dare to dream. First time, showed up, came in, won it, never came back to it. And people are like, oh my God, where did this team come from? So my point is, anything can happen. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but if you already know a team like Bayern, of course we know what we can figure out what their weaknesses are. But the unknown is Arsenal, these young boys. You don't know if this first leg is going to be what triggers their level of maturity. We don't know if that's what's going to bring it in.
See, here's the thing, right?
Because sometimes it doesn't have to be 10 years of experience that triggers your maturity. It just needs one experience. One. Yeah,
listen, and this could be anything can happen. So. Anything can happen. You've seen people make their debuts in Wimbledon and win it. Stuff like this in other sports, in other leagues. You've seen Leicester win the Premier League. Things can happen, right? And there is a possibility out there that we win the Champions League. Of course, there's a possibility of anything happening. So yes, but the thing I will say about not knowing about having the maturity until they play the game, for me, there's a level of maturity that this team cannot possess right now, and it's not their fault, and we can't judge them on that. And that is being there and doing it. Like, for example, I'll use myself as an example. I'm going to be a new father. I've never had a child before. I can't compare myself to a guy is having his fourth child and be like, well, when I have my child, I've got to be as organized as he is, know what I'm doing as he is, because it won't happen because I haven't been there and done it yet. And there's nothing bad about that. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with Arsenal not having that experience. In
the example that you just gave, you're probably going to have people around you that can support you, that have been fathers for many of years, that can help you with that experience, which is very similar to the Arsenal team, because although we do have a lot of young players, we do have players in our team currently that have won the Champions League and have won European trophy. So I think that also have won leagues as well. So I think that it's the way that people view how Arsenal are going to perform against Bayern and Real Madrid, I think is very warped, because a lot of the information that they're drawing from is from the Porto game. But Bayern and Real Madrid are not going to set up like Porto. They're just not. Like they're not going to come into the game with defense being the first thing on their mind. They're just not going to do that. What they're going to do is they're going to believe that, okay, we're the teams with the heritage. We have the experience. We have the know-how. We're going to be Arsenal. We're going to go out and we're going to attack them. This is what's going to happen, because both of the teams are attack-minded teams. Why would I assume as a fan that because Porto decided to set up defensively, which is what they do all the time, that Bayern and Real Madrid, who are both attack-minded teams, are going to set up similar to Porto against us in the Champions League? It's just not going to happen at all.
No, but
I don't even think that they will do it at the Emirates.
No.
So why should I expect?
And Giuseppe, you know, based on your analogy, right? Being like you said, like being a new father. I'll give you an example. I'm a father. I have 3 kids, right? But every child is different as well. And the experience of doing something, of becoming a parent, I figured it out while I was in it. I figured out how to be one when I faced it. Before you get into it, Arsenal is never, like right now, you're right. We don't know if they have the maturity because they've never done this. But when they step on that pitch and they fill out the first 15, 20 minutes and they see how they feel, and they're like, it's Bayern, we're up for this. We're up for this. Let's go. That's when you know. It's the reality dawns on you. So when people say things like, when I hear things like, oh, we don't have enough quality, we don't have enough depth, and I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. So what is the yardstick? What is the yardstick for this quality that you speak about in the Champions League? What is the yardstick? Like, what are we measuring it on? Are we saying that because Bayern as a club has been to the Champions League multiple times, and even some of the players that they have right now have been to the Champions League, but some have not been to the Champions League? Are we saying because Bayern have been there more times than Arsenal, that's the yardstick? Because if we're looking at quality player for player, right? I mean, yeah, they have great. I mean, Bayern has some great players, but if we're looking at quality for quality, there's not a large drop off between Bayern and Arsenal players one-on-one. If you want to go, there's not a large drop off. It's not like somebody is 100% and our players are 20%. You know,
Yeah,
they
no,
can
Dale,
they can match up.
I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think I think that. But all I'm trying to say is, even say Arsenal go out to Bayern Munich, right? We go out, we lose, we don't get smashed, we lose. We beat them 1-0 at home, we lose to them 2-0 at theirs, or something like that. Or goes extra time, we lose 3-1, something like that. It's a close game. Now, I believe that next year, when we're in the Champions League, just getting to this stage that we're getting to now, this team's going to be even better now in the Champions League, because they've got that thing. They've gone home, they've lost it. Damn, that felt good, but we know what we done wrong. We know we let the occasion get to us, and that it's not impossible for us to win the Champions League. I think it's highly unlikely. I don't think we have a right. I don't think we've got, like, let's be honest. If we're playing Real Madrid, you're playing serial winners of this competition. The occasion will not get to them players. They might have an off day. That won't be the occasion getting to them. That will just be players having a crap day. Yeah. Our players, it's very possible that the occasion can get to them. And you got to expect that. You've got to expect that.
No, of course. I mean, like we said, but one thing we've seen with our players, and this is why I keep asking this question. Everything that we've posed to them, every single thing that we've posed to these teams, they have somehow found a way to surmount it. At the beginning of the season, we talked about how they're not playing free-flowing football. Oh, they've lost the flair of last season. What happened to the free-flowing football? At the beginning of the season, it seemed like Arsenal was not even playing very well at all. It seemed like we were not even going to be challenging at all, the way we were playing. I felt like if we keep playing this way, it's not sustainable all season. But you saw the shift slowly but surely. You saw the shift slowly but surely, slowly but surely. Every single game we came into it, we did what we needed to do. We got our points, we moved on. The ones where we lost it, we lost it. We came back after the break, and you saw like the total turnaround of how they wanted to play in the last end of the season. We faced as a Champions League, first time back in the Champions League in 14 years. We were the only team in the Champions League not to concede any goals at home at the Emirates. The only goals we ever conceded throughout the entire, and people are going to say, yo, what teams did you play? Oh, those teams are not. But hey, listen, those teams made it to the Champions League. Let's respect them. Let's respect them. They made it to the Champions League. And they were not able to score at the Emirates. So we have to give them that respect. Let's not call the first round a joke or the second round the knockout is a joke. Porto is a team that has Champions League heritage, 2 Champions Leagues. They've won it twice. So for us to sit and just, when people say, oh, like, I don't think we have enough. I think we have enough. I think we just need to step into that atmosphere and then it turns on. Because when you've never been in that atmosphere, you can't switch it on. Like,
listen, I think we have enough. Personally, I do think we have enough.
I think we do.
If we do, that's a different story. I really want to get past them. I really want to face Real Madrid, and then I don't mind what happens as long as we don't get embarrassed. I've said that. Me personally, though, back to the original question, I don't think Arsenal are winning a major honour this season. Personally, I wouldn't be sacking Arteta at the end of the season unless we go and lose like most of our games from now. Personally, these are just my thoughts on it. Because listen, it's Liverpool's to lose for me. You got City breathing down the neck as well. You got us. If we don't lose, but we're battling till the end, I'm fine. If we get past Bayern and we lose to Real Madrid, I'm fine. I'm be upset about that season because I really want that league. I really think we've got to win the league, man. But yeah, that for me, I think we won't win major honour, and you two think we'll win the Prem. And I know in your heart you want to say Champions League hooks.
Do you know what's very interesting though? So next Sunday, something very interesting could happen because Manchester United could beat Liverpool, and then we could beat Man City, and that would give us such a massive springboard in the Premier League. That would be like that's like all of us are in heaven after that happening. So
listen,
it's possible, man.
Beating City,
the Premier League, man. Anything can happen.
Do you know
we already did it once this season. We've done it once this season. Kevin De Bruyne was no. It doesn't matter though. They destroyed us for 10 years straight at the Emirates and at the Etihad. For 10 years straight, they destroyed us both home and away. Can we all go back and just remember that we had never beaten City for so long? We keep now we're like, oh, it's at the Emirates. We're trying to make it seem like the Emirates is some fortress that we just made it a fortress. We just started making it a fortress.
As well.
No, but the thing is, it's that they're so good at home. They're so good. They don't lose at home.
I listen, I agree with you, Giuseppe. But for years straight, they beat us at the Emirates straight. We thought they were coming to beat us too. Again, it was meant. It's written in the stars that we don't beat Man City at the Emirates or at the Etihad. But it changed, and once it's changed once, what says it can't change again? That's my point. We've seen the change. We beat them call it the Community Shield, call it whatever you want. Do you know what? I'll look for that video clip when Arsenal was playing the penalties against Man City. Pep had his hand around his coaches like this, gritting his teeth. It's Community Shield. He doesn't want it, but he was there. And as soon as we scored, he just did this. When Vieira scored, he put his hands and covered his face. I have that video clip.
Yeah,
go look.
You want to win everything you're in. You want to win.
Yeah, so that's my point. So we beat them at the Community Shield. It's a Community Shield is not a big deal. I don't care about the Shield, but we beat them. We came into the league. We beat them at the Emirates. We played them. We played them very well, and we beat them. Stroke of luck, whatever you want to call it, deflected goal, call it whatever. The bottom line is our ball went into the net and theirs did not. Declan cleared their ball off the line. So
I want to ask you a question.
I
want to ask you two both a question. Dale, you first, yeah. If someone comes to you right now and say you get a draw, if you take it now, guaranteed, are you taking it?
Do I get a draw? At the Etihad, I'll take a draw this year.
What about you?
At the Etihad?
No.
I'll take a draw at the Etihad this year. I don't want to draw, but I'll take a draw.
I'm not gonna
Etihad,
lie.
and I'll tell you
I
why.
think if you guarantee it, I think I'll take the draw because I think the draw we still have a chance in the title race. But
Nope.
So let me Hooks, let me tell you why I said I'll take a draw. My reasons for saying I'll take a draw is I'm looking at the growth process of my team. This is a team that has not beaten Man City at the Etihad or at the Emirates for years. And then suddenly we're able to turn the Emirates into a fortress starting last season up until this season. We've turned our home into a fortress. When people come, they know that they can get beat at the Emirates. And we proved it by beating Man City at the Emirates. We were like, you know what? Now you're in our home. Now we need to grow into being able to go to their own patch and beating them at their patch. Now that's a bigger task. Can we do it? Yes. Do we have what it takes to do it? Yes. We will be able to do it. That's what I don't know. But I do know one thing. We're not going to lose to them. So I will take a draw if because Man City is a tough team. Let's not play them down. And it's at the Etihad. So if we go there and we score one goal, I believe we have what it takes to keep that one goal and get our 3 points and get out of there. I believe if we have enough to do it.
I believe before you go, Hooks, I believe that if you're at home, yeah, if one of the top teams is at home, it's on them to win or lose the game. I personally believe that. So if Man City come and they perform to the level that we know Man City can perform at home, they win the game against anyone. I generally believe,
but not the
sometimes
team
it
this
is.
Year.
But like, listen, that's because they might not come fully correct, and then we might be able to get something. But I believe that.
But what if we come fully correct and we etched it because football is a moment. What if on
of course anything can happen.
Giuseppe, what if on this day? I don't like the narrative of because Man City didn't turn up, that's why Arsenal won. Like that is a defeatist mentality from most fans. It's like, oh, the reason we didn't win is because the reason we won is because they didn't turn up. Like we're not good enough. Like, what if on this very day, in that very first 60 minutes, no matter how much you turned up, I turned up too. You turn up, I turn up. You turn up, I turn up. Whoever gets tired first will turn down, and then whoever is up there will win. So my point is, what if it's because we played? I've seen Arsenal win games, and they say things like, "Oh, the other team just didn't play too well." I'm like, what are you talking about? Maybe we played too well.
No, that's not what I'm
saying.
To play their game. That's not what I'm saying. I just believe a team as good as Man City are, if they play as good as they can at their home pitch, no one can beat them. And it's not an Arsenal thing. I don't think anyone can beat them if they're playing at their best game at home. Not to say they're going to. I'm just saying that as a thing. But Hooks, you said no. You said no, you wouldn't take the draw.
Nah, man. Look, if we draw to Man City at the Etihad, then yeah, it's a good result, I guess. In the
must win
in the grand scheme of things. But I want us to win. So I would, in no scenario would I ever say, if you could guarantee me that we draw and that's what we leave with, would I take it? Because no, I want to win. Like the thing is, yeah, we're in flow state right now. So what we should really be doing is picking up more wins to carry on, to go on, to blow teams away. Because look, if we beat Man City, then I think our next game is Luton. 100% they get smoked. That they'll just get blown away. Like 100% they'll just get blown away. And then if they get blown away, that's now 10 games. 10 games in the Prem. We would have won on the bounce. I think the next game is Villa. I think it might be Villa next. They'll get smoked. Like that's what we need to do. Brighton. So Brighton, yeah. Next game will be Brighton. Brighton are not doing too great currently at the moment. We'll smoke them. Like, and then if we beat the smoke Brighton, that's now 11 wins. And then we go on to
Bayern, Villa, Bayern.
Yeah, so this is the thing. We're at a point now where we can't really afford to kill our momentum by getting a draw or a loss, because that will probably impact how we play against Bayern as well. So for me, it has to be a win. We and the thing is, yeah, we have to be able. So do you know what? Because we have a young team, the way that a young team grows and matures and becomes, I guess, a much more powerful team is by overcoming certain hurdles. Beating Man City at their ground is one of these hurdles. If we beat Man City at their ground, we would have beat them on all 3 occasions that we played them this season. Coming off of the back of a season where we lost to them in every game we played them. That is a massive leap. Look, I'm not trying to do this Liverpool Man City Pep Klopp bum chum rivalry. I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, it's got to be a serious thing.
That sucks.
Yeah,
what
we
is
got
that?
Serious thing. Like it's we're smoking. It's not no happy hug handshake. Nah, smoking you. Like I want Pep to be vexed on the sidelines when we're pumping his team. Pause. No Diddy. You get me? So let's just keep it 100. I don't think no Arsenal fan, should in my opinion should be accepting a draw by default because it's Man City at their ground. That doesn't make any sense, because I know for a fact when Man City came to our ground, their fans weren't speaking.
They weren't. Yeah, they weren't speaking that way. You're right. I mean, I my reason, like I said, for saying I'll take a draw is because I'm looking at the growth process. Like I said, last season we lost to them in all games. This season we've been able to beat them twice already in two different times. And because the Etihad is the one place we haven't beat them, we beat them at Wembley, we beat them at the Emirates. Now, because we haven't beat them at the Etihad, I'm like, that's a ground that you go to and you kind of feel your way around before you get there and become like a dominant factor and start beating them at the Etihad, which is why I said I'll take a draw. But you know, one thing I will say is I want to give Arteta some flowers here, because honestly, I still think about this as a coach who's just 4 years on his job. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous where he's taking us from as a club, where we were 4.5 years ago to where we are right now. Like we're having conversations about we stand a chance to beat Bayern in the round of, like, this is the conversation we're having now. 4 years ago, we weren't having the conversation about Europa.
Yeah,
not even talking about like it's like the conversation we're having conversation about if we go to City and beat City, and then we will beat Brighton. Like we're talking with a lot more like this is the Arsenal. Like now we just need a trophy, like you said. And I think that these boys have what it takes, man. They have what it takes.
But before we chat, because I'm gonna go. Yeah, go on.
I'll say this real quickly. You're a very level-headed, objective person. There's certain fans that even if Arteta wins the Champions League and the Premiership this year, if he wins a double this year, watch what they'll say. The next thing these same Arsenal fans will say is, but Chelsea has won 2 Champions League. What was he feeling like? Watch, just mark this statement that I just made and watch it happen. If Arteta wins anything, they're going to find, like, for example, I was talking to someone and I brought up, I said, but he's won an FA Cup. What's that? Is that really a trophy? And I said, hold on. You call Man City the treble winners. What are the 3 trophies they won? Is the FA Cup not part of it? It is. Oh, so it's important to Man City that you can call them treble winners.
Shoving the FA Cup to the
side. But I know, but then this people, it's not. I'm not saying it is.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
I know you're not.
We acknowledge it for Man City as part of their treble winning cup. But when we say Arteta has won one, it's like, guys, this is rubbish cup. I'm like, those two things can't live in the same world. Like, that's where I just don't understand the mentality. But yeah, man, I think we stand a good chance this season.
I think, by the way, when we win that first trophy, I say when we win that first major trophy, I do believe floodgates will open at Arsenal and we'll start winning stuff. Like I do think
this team for the next 5 years, man,
we'll end up winning a few bits. Like if we win the league, if we win the league this year, for example, I believe within the next few years we'll win the Champions League. I generally do.
Giuseppe, say that again. Go back.
I say when.
When we win the league this season.
Listen, before we go on to the next subject, though, I just want to say, listen, it's beautiful that we can speak about Arsenal in this vein now, and it's not the whole negative old. It's different now. You know, it's not. We were moaning about being 8th and stuff. Like, to be moaning about finishing 2nd and this stuff is mad to me. Like, it's great. Not mad. This is where we should be and where we belong. And I'm so happy that we're back there. But now we just need to get over the line, right? So, listen, the players as well. Listen, we love the team now. It's come a long way. Talking about loving the team, talking about loving the players. I know Hooks loves this player. He's such a. It's funny because he's one of them guys. Yeah. By the way, big up, hello, big you up, bigging you up, Hooks as well. listen, that threw me, sorry. But going on to the players, you love him, Hooks. Yeah, he's a controversial guy. He's a guy that makes people go, hold on, by the way, I'm talking fan base wise, not himself, fan base wise. He splits decisions. I don't know, innit? He's one of a kind, in my opinion. Yeah, I actually do like the guy. We're talking about Kai Havertz. Is he Arsenal's player of the season so far? No, that was a little joke that I put in the title. Hooks has never, no one has in the chat has ever said that. But Havertz, man, listen, I'm going to give my quick little opinion on Havertz because I know you two like Havertz and you have time for him and that. So do I. But I just want to clear the air because sometimes I think because I like to play devil's advocate and I like to question everything, sometimes people misconstrue what I say and think that I don't like someone. I like Havertz. I think he's a great clutch squad player. He's a guy that is great for the team where you're in a Champions League late game, something like that. Not like Origi, maybe. Like I think that's maybe he's got more of a role than Origi. He's not just like a super sub. He can start games and stuff. But I believe he's a squad player. And I believe he'll fit into this Arsenal. He's fit already into this Arsenal system. He's starting to now give us moments, give us wins and all this stuff. In the same kit as Hooks. Look, I've got Havertz here. Look with me. But so for me, Havertz, has he been a successful signing so far? I would argue, yes, he has probably been a successful signing. Now he's won us. The price is where it differs. If you're taking price out of this,
no,
in the sense of like as a signing,
no,
I think he's probably at the moment looking towards going to the end of successful this season. Right? He's got to push on whatever. So I like Havertz. I just don't believe Havertz is the type of player, not to say good enough, but the type of player to be a guaranteed starter in the Arsenal team.
He's the perfect player, the perfect type of player for the way Arteta views football. Like I don't know how many times I need to explain this, yeah, and it is quite frustrating that people can't see this, yeah. Is the way Arsenal play is the most important thing is position and understanding different spaces on the pitch. Havertz is a player that has played in so many different positions. This is how intelligent he is, yeah. His manager at national level with confidence can go, I'm going to play you left back. This is how much intelligence that this guy has when it comes to position and space on the pitch. He understands how to rotate. He is very intelligent with runs that he makes. The problem that Arsenal fans have is the runs that he makes isn't always for him to get onto the end of the ball to score the goal. This is why Arsenal fans get annoyed, because it's not like, oh, he's come in and he hasn't scored 1 million goals yet. And, oh, why isn't he getting 5 assists a game? Like, that's to do with your expectation of him. But if you look at his raw talent as a player and his intelligence, it is absolutely, Arsenal is absolutely the perfect place for him to be, for him to express himself. And all that we had to do as a fan base, this is all we had to do, is just understand that he just left hell. He literally just left hell. And we all saw the way that he was treated at Chelsea by the fan base. Because do you know why? We all know Chelsea fans. Do you know why? We're all on Twitter. We all saw the way that they would speak about the guy that won them the Champions League, by the way. Need I remind that? The guy that won them the Champions League, the way that they treated this guy, insane. He came into Arsenal, yeah, with his confidence in the absolute gutter. Like, it was so low, it was beyond belief. But do you know what he did immediately? He made sure that we beat City, because he's the one that assisted Martinelli. He made sure that we beat City. This guy him alone has won us so many points that contribute towards this Premier League if we win it. It is absolutely insane. And now what we're seeing is, as his confidence is building, he's becoming more consistent. This is what we're seeing. He's consistently creating more impact in every game. And now it's kind of shifting. It's so weird, yeah, because now it's shifting from, oh, we're not seeing him do anything, he needs to contribute, to now he's contributing. Oh, he's not contributing enough. He should be scoring more goals. He should be getting more assists. It's the typical Arsenal way. Let's always continuously move the goalpost and create a new hurdle. But
See now,
this guy,
yeah,
Giuseppe, can I say something about Havertz still?
For 65 million.
Let me reply to this, and then we'll go to you. And I'll let you
in this
preach.
market, in this inflated market, 65 million for this guy is a steal. Absolute steal. Chelsea should
listen. I don't agree with players getting on. This is just to counter what you said. I don't agree with people just like rinsing him. I didn't agree with people when he first come in, shy Havertz, before he'd kicked the ball for us. All this taking the piss pre-season when he weren't scoring in that US game thing, all that crap. I didn't care. I didn't care about all that. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him produce right for Arsenal, and then I was going to judge. I always give someone a season before I judge them. Yeah. So I already said that. My thing is, I think he is a squad player. I think he is probably one of the most perfect squad players because he's a guy that you can fit in different ways, different systems, different parts of the pitch.
Giuseppe, can I say something to? I want somebody to disagree with that, though. I mean, you have a right to believe that, but I want to say this about Kai Havertz that people haven't realized. He's 24.
Exactly. He's
24. Let's remember. Listen, let's remember that. So when we say that, when we say that he's a squad, like, dude, this guy can only get better over the next 2-3 years, unless he wants to destroy his career and go down the rabbit hole or do whatever he wants to do with his life. But the projection that we see right now, this season alone, from the first half of the season to the second half of the season, look, under Mikel Arteta, Granit Xhaka in his last season became a beast. All of us saw it. This was the Granit Xhaka that we wanted out of our club the year before that. The Granit Xhaka who took off the captain's band, and we said we don't want to ever see him. And people sang all kinds of things about him. He became a beast. Under Mikel Arteta, we saw Raheem Sterling thrive at Man City. Right? Raheem said it in his interview. Under Mikel Arteta, we've seen players like Odegaard, who Real Madrid almost destroyed his career, to become who he is today.
Sane.
We've seen what he's done with Kai Havertz now. Now, is Kai the best player on the team? No. But is his output good enough? Right? Is his output good enough for what we bought him for? You know, the conversation we were having the other day when I was comparing his goals, not his skill set. Look, Leandro Trossard is the better technical all-round footballer than Kai Havertz when it comes to technicality, dribbling. I give it to Leandro. He's but goal-wise output, Havertz has scored more goals than Trossard. Yes, Havertz has played more minutes in general, but both of them have only played the position of center forward 5 times each. So let's compare their 5 times each to each other, because Havertz has played as an attacking midfielder. Leandro has played as a left winger. Those are 2 different positions. I'm not going to compare those positions, but let's just compare their 5 games each. Havertz has still outscored Trossard in goals. Now you can look at GA, you can give all your GA does not mean anything if I look at the board and your goals are simply not there. If you scored 7 and 1 assist and somebody has scored 8 and 3 assists, I don't care what your GA is. Give me match your GA, please. Match it. You've played 5 times as a center forward. He's played 5 times as a center forward. Comparing both data there without going beyond that to their other positions.
One thing I have to say, though, you do have to consider minutes, because I know what you're saying. They've spent. Hold on, but if they've both played 5 games each, yeah. Just let me land this. If they're both playing 5 games each, yeah, in the striker position, but in them 5 games, Trossard's only got 20 minutes every game. For an example, I'm not saying this is it.
They're
20 minutes in all them games.
Their 5 games are even. I looked at the data. Their 5 games are even. I'm talking 5 full games as center forward, like matching their timing. Like total, both of them have both played like 90. Let's just say 90 minutes. Let's not add the extra minutes. 90 minutes. Both of them have played 90 minutes, 5. So 450 minutes, 150 minutes as center forward.
Listen, but regardless, I think that the argument of that is a bit like, as I say, I think minutes do count, because if you've only played 20 minutes of the game, you've got only 20 minutes to score, where another guy's got 80 minutes to score, for an example. I just want to quickly answer this question as well. I think he will get a chance at Arsenal. I think he will. Hopefully, if he's happy to be sitting, waiting, because what I think is the next striker we sign, yeah, is going to be someone a bit older. I don't think it's going to be a very young person. Yeah, I think it could be someone more prime years. So then we're going to need someone that comes through. And then if you've got a prime striker, yeah, then what happens is you can try and find a gem or try some of your youngsters in the striker because you're not desperate for a striker that gets loads of goals. So I think he will get a chance. But back to Havertz and Trossard, that debate and that. I know T's in the comments. He's
yeah. Can I just say something on this?
Go, bro.
On this debate. Can I just say something on this debate? So, all right. So, one, I don't think that as a fan base, we should even be having this debate. It doesn't even matter. Is it Havertz or Jesus, or is it Havertz or Trossard, or is it Trossard or Jesus, or is it Martinelli or Trossard? Like, I don't think we should be having those debates because we should all understand the way that Arteta views football. Like, he's made it very clear that even from early on, even when we was getting smoked and coming eighth, that it's always focus about your next opponent and your next game and craft a plan for that. So he's already open and very much grasps the mindset of, I can play anyone anywhere. I just need to have the players that can play anywhere and play in multiple places for how I would need them to play. And that's what Trossard offers, because Trossard can play on the left, Trossard can play up front, Trossard can probably play on the right, Trossard can play in the 8. Trossard
I love him. I love him. Like, I love him. I'm just,
he's a beautiful player. Yeah, Havertz can do the same. Jesus can play in multiple positions. He can play on the right. He can play on the left. He can play up top. So this is the thing. Yeah, this is why the hatred towards Havertz is really weird, because Arteta's found another player that he can introduce into his philosophy of football, and it works. So even if it's like, okay, because I know you posed a question in the chat yesterday, Giuseppe, about if we sign
Barella and Tony,
does Havertz start? And I said it depends how we're going to play on the game. And on the opponent.
But then, by the way,
because anyone that comes in to Arsenal,
by the way, I believe then that makes you a squad player, though. This is where. By the way,
that means everybody's the squad. That means everybody's a squad player, because
no.
Listen, hold on. Think about it. Some people are going to be mainstay. We get that. We're talking the forwards now. Depending on who you're playing and how you want to break them down and how you want to score and how you feel like maybe, okay, we need a target man or we need something, depending on that, it means I can swap Tony for Havertz if I need to. Which means Tony too is not a squad player, because he may play 4 games but not play the 5th game.
But that's one game. Like, what I mean is, majority of the games would be Tony up front. Maybe the odd game you swap him out.
You don't know
more time. It's going to be Havertz coming off the bench.
Personal
opinion. That's my personal. No, we don't. But that's my personal opinion. If we get them, he won't.
But
start.
also,
and there's no problem with that. Because, by the way, look at Man City. This is what I hate. Like, with not you guys obviously, but like a lot of Arsenal fans on Twitter. It's like, we can't buy this guy because we've got Odegaard in that position. We've got Saka in that position. Look at fucking Man City, and there's a reason they've dominated this league. It's because they've got players on the bench that starts in everyone else's team. Yeah, and because they win.
But there's a huge caveat. There's a huge caveat.
Like, what I'm trying to say is,
there's a huge caveat. You cannot use Man City as the example, because before the actual FFP rules came in, the proper ones, they blew the bank on.
But we're not far.
These guys, we're not gonna blow. No, people say this, yeah, but while not understanding inflation, like I'm sorry, yeah. Be under no illusion. It's going to take way more than just an Ivan Toney and one more central midfielder to secure us being in the title race and getting far into the Champions League every season consistently from now on.
No. But what I'm trying to say is we're getting close. We're getting close to building that team, right? For example, hear me out. This is what if we sign, I'm not even going to say Ivan Toney. Let's say we sign Osherman or that Victor guy from Sporting, right? Say we sign, I know you love him. Let's say we sign him, yeah. Let's say we sign Zubamendi, let's say we go and get another midfielder and we get a winger, then all of a sudden our team is stacked like this. We're getting the positions. So now you've got to get people in them positions on that level. There ain't no thing of, no, we can't go for him. He's too good. You know, he's yeah, Hooks. I'm gonna start wrapping it up in a sec. So yeah, listen, for me, there ain't no this guy's too good to sit on the bench. There ain't none of that. If you want to be the best, he's not sitting on the bench like that. It ain't like you're crap, so you're sitting on the bench. It's just that you come in when you're needed. You come in to help the team. You want to win major honors, or would you rather be a guy that plays every minute in another team and wins jack shit? Yeah, because trust me, Harry Kane done that for a long time, and he's now sitting there with an empty cabinet. Yeah, because yeah, you're the star at that show, but that show wins nothing. What's the point of having a show when you've only got 5 people watching every time? You know what I mean? Like when you could go to another show, maybe not be the main character, but you're performing in front of thousands and thousands of people, bruv. So for me, that ain't a disrespect thing when I say Havertz is more of a squad player, because I think the way he is as a player will results in him being a squad player. And I think Arteta looked at that when signing him, like this guy, in Arteta's eyes, in my opinion, he looked at Havertz as the perfect squad player. A player that is so versatile in positions that he's not really a mainstay in the team ever, but he's a guy that can come in when needed in multiple positions. He can really count on this guy. Yeah, which is as important as a starting guy that's in the team. That's as important.
You know, a lot this season for a squad player, you know,
because we haven't got the guys yet.
Yeah, can I say something about? You're right. Maybe Arteta is looking at him as a squad, maybe. But one thing you need to notice with what Arteta did say, if you go watch Arteta's interview where he said he had a 5-stage plan, I went back, I took notes, dude. I did like 3 pages of notes on what he said. And I kind of just broke down my understanding of what he was saying. We all know what the first phase was. He was like, phase out all the guys earning big wages. We were paying Champions League wages while we're not even qualifying for it. He was like, phase all those guys out.
Yeah.
People like Lucas Torreira, you know how much he was earning? Like, do you know how much these guys were earning weekly? We were paying Champions League wages, so phase all of that out. Phase 2. Now, clear out players that have quality, but are not going to fit into the long-term goal. The phase where he brought in Havertz and Co. is phase 4, where he says recruit players on the cusp of their peak power. He literally used those words, recruiting players on the cusp of their peak powers, right? And that can perform, because now we can coach them. They're on the cusp of their peak powers. They know the basics. We can bring them in. He can blend them with the young players. He brought in experience in phase 3. Like literally that's where we brought in Jorginho as well. You know, he's end of phase 3, phase 4. Now we're in the final phase where he now says, look, complete the puzzle by bringing in experienced strikers in an experienced player in every other position. Somebody who's solid in every position. And then we go on with that. The next 4-5 years, we can compete. So looking at his philosophy, you can actually see how he's recruited people. And when he recruited them, how he brought them in, the reason he brought them in, and why he's doing the changes that he's doing. And I think, yeah, Kai can be a good squad player right now, but he's 24, like I said. We don't know what he's going to be next season. In fact,
anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything
so between now and next season, he could look, the guy is on an 8 goal, there's 10 more games. If Havertz scores in 3 or 4 more games, he's given us Xhaka's goals, and he's put up some good numbers.
No, I agree. 100%. I agree.
And if next season he can give us double-digit numbers in goals and assists, I mean, what are we asking? Like, it's like the guy is. I think Arteta is using the players the way he deems fit and the way he feels the team will perform best. And let's just keep our fingers crossed, support our team. I don't like hearing this. We don't have the quality, but then when we win, every time we win, there's a reason. There's a reason. Oh, but look at how we won. We won on penalties. Is penalties not part of the game? Is penalties not part of the game? Yeah, people.
We haven't got the experience.
Yeah, we don't have we don't have the depth. Yeah, I agree, but with the no depth, well, look at where we're at. You know. So
listen, I'm gonna start wrapping up now because Hooks has to go and I've got to sort some stuff out. But before we go, I want to ask you a question. One last question. Yeah. For so far this season, rating Havertz's season out of 10, what are you giving him?
I'll still give him a 6. I'll still give him a 6 right now. I think he has a lot. I think he has a lot more to offer us. So far, based on the first half and this second half, he's done well second half. I'll give him a 6 for now. I'll leave him at a 6. Big up, Martin.
Big up, Martin. I have to get Martin on.
So I don't know, man. I don't. It's so hard to boil it down to a number, in it, like, because I don't know. I feel that's looking at it too black and white. But
this guy wants to give him a 9 or something.
Do you know what it is? Yeah. Do you know what it is? Yeah. Do you know what it is? Yeah. It's because I'm seeing. Yeah. Do you know what it is? What I believed that he would become at Arsenal under Arteta, I'm now starting to see it fully come into fruition. And something that I've always said, yeah, and all the people that negatively judge Havertz, yeah, all I ask them to do is go and watch him play for Arsenal live in the great. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Emirates, but any stadium you can get to watch the game live and just watch him play, opposed to watching the TV. Because the TV, when you're watching football on the TV, it tends to follow the ball quite a lot in it. So you don't really get the opportunity to see all of the off the ball stuff that the players do and how they're contributing to the different phases of play, right? But when you watch this guy, yeah, live, you'll have a completely different perception on this guy. And for me, yeah, sure, he had a slow start in terms of numbers on the board. Yeah. But the stuff that Arteta wanted him to do off the ball, I believe he was always doing. So for me, because I don't want to get cooked, yeah, immediately after in the group chat, yeah, I'm gonna say 7.5 in it. And a lot of that 7.5 has come from what I've seen him do in 2024. I do think
That's respectable.
His 2024 has been a lot better than his 2023.
Yeah. I mean, I say 6, like I said, because I feel like Havertz has a lot to give us, man. Like, I honestly, like, people don't realize. Go watch Havertz in Leverkusen, man. Like, like, if we get him back and just slightly beyond his form at Leverkusen, like, just get him back to that and just slightly beyond it, there's a player in there, man. There's a mad player in there, man.
For me, I'll give him a 6. I think 6 is fair. I think the first half of the season, which maybe isn't even his fault, maybe it's a bit out of order, but we got to go off this. But I would say that if you were telling me to judge Havertz from 2020, like from this year, from 2024, then I'd probably give him an 8.5 or something, to be honest, this year. Like, but you got to count last year. It goes to a 6 for me. Yeah. Obviously, we got some people in the chat giving their ones.
You don't have to count it, man.
You do, bro. You do,
man.
Okay, but you see, and Hooks is right. Hooks is right. You know why Hooks is right? You don't have to, and I'll tell you why. This is the same. We are the same people who all of a sudden Arsenal hasn't lost a game since 2024. 8 games on the bounce. We've forgotten about the first half of the season so far. Now we want to rate our team only based on January till now. All of a sudden, it's time to rate Havertz, and everybody wants to remember what he did from last 2023. I'm like, we have to find a good balance here, man.
The thing is, with Havertz,
you have to rate them.
He's a moments guy. That's the only thing. That's one problem.
He's been consistent since January, though. He has. He's not been a moments guy since January. What are we in? We're in March, the end of March, literally. He's been consistent for almost 90 days. So here we are. 90 days of consistency, and the same way he had 90 days of crap in the first half of the season, suddenly we don't want to call him consistent now. We want to people just not you, but generally, like, oh, he's a moments guy. People still just don't like him. And if you don't like him, that's what I want Arsenal fans to do.
I don't agree with that, by the way.
Yeah, what I want Arsenal fans to do is only with your chest. I don't like Kai Havertz, even if he scores me a Champions League winning goal, even if he scores the 10 hat tricks back to back. I just don't like him. I don't want him in my team. I'm never going to rate him. Great. I will respect that person. But
I got to admit, that's like, you see, like Lee Gunner and that. Like, that's why he still don't celebrate. He does. Yeah. He's celebrated 1 or 2 now. He's coming around, but he weren't celebrating his goals and all that. Yeah, like, fair enough.
I respect that. You don't like the guy. Great stuff. I know where you stand, but don't kick the can down the road when you see the improvement in the player. Like, you see that the guy is now delivering, and you still want to say, well, it's. And I'm like, no, don't do that to him. Bukayo Saka wasn't firing at the first half of the season. Martinelli wasn't firing Martinelli is still not firing at all guns blazing. I don't see anybody saying, "Oh my God, Martinelli." He's not getting as much slack as Havertz. You know,
Yeah, I think this season like next season, it will be a lot less pressure on Havertz and that. I feel like we'll have some new signings in, and he'll sort of be in the squad now, and it will be like less like eyes on him. Right, like right now, there's all the eyes are on him. Listen, I think he's got on the right track as well this season. Personally, I think if he, as you said, if he gets 3 or 4 more goals, then you're looking at quite a decent season, in my opinion. Like I wouldn't be complaining at all. Everyone would have snatched your hand off if you told us he was going to get them stats, and he has got the important goals, which I agree with. The 2 games against Brentford, he won us both games. You know, Luton, he got a pivotal goal that brought us back into the game.
He killed off the Brighton game. He killed off the Brighton
game. So his goals have been, and that's the thing with him. His goals are quite clutch. He is, in my eyes, quite a clutch player, and I think hey, bro, like, you know what? Things can change. Like, he could get the winner against Bayern that puts us through, and now all of a sudden the narrative starts turning on him, right? So for me, I don't hate Havertz. Do I think sometimes the only problem is sometimes I think, and I do think this is because of the hate he gets. I think because he gets so much unnecessary hate, the people that love him maybe over defend him, like where they start overrating him a bit, and they start like being almost the other end of it. But because they're trying to defend him against all the hate, the middle ground for me is this: he's decent, he's doing a thing, but Hooks has to go. Links for everyone in the description. I'm going to wrap it up now.
Thanks
Links
for having me on, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Listen, I'll be doing these shows a lot more anyway because I'm back. So we'll definitely all link up again.
Invite me anytime, man. Yeah, man.
Come on.
All right, sweet. All right, take care.
Take
care.
Sweet.
Catch you there, man.
Hooks.
Big up,
Peace,
Hooks.
my brother.
Yeah, so as I wrap this up, yeah, listen, anyone defending gets attacked too. It's true. But I think they're starting to slow down now. Big up, but yeah, listen.
I just think we shouldn't attack our players. I think that
listen, I agree with that.
Yeah, we can criticize them. You can criticize a bad game. You can criticize a technique. You can criticize maybe a consistency of failures. You can be like, look, he's done this 4 games back to back. He needs to work on it. But just generally just being like, oh, just because you don't like a player, you don't want him on the team, you consistently speak bad about him. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to stomach.
You have to keep it respectful as well, right? Like, for example, big up Martin every time. Me and Martin were having a debate on Mo's channel yesterday, right? And I was getting like, he was getting a bit not heated in any way, because I wasn't getting angry in any way at Martin per se, like at him. It was just I get passionate when I'm Italian. I'm hot-headed. I get passionate about it. So like I'll start shouting a bit, not like aggressively, but my voice will raise.
Well, welcome to my Nigerian world. Me too.
Yeah, bro. Listen. So most of my friends are Nigerian, Jamaican. Yeah, I'm Italian. You know the discussions we have had my whole life about football. It's just shouting over everyone, and it's mental. Yeah. Listen, don't let anyone hear, don't let any Ghanaians hear this, but I'm a Nigerian jollof guy. So
confirmed. It's Niger jollof for life. Ghana jollof, no way.
But yeah, listen, we've got to get. I'm going to definitely get Martin on, because it's nice to get these debates, bro. Like as fans, you should be able to debate each other and not. You don't have to like belittle someone because you don't agree with their opinion. That's the one thing I say. I cannot agree with you, or you cannot agree with me, but let's agree to disagree in the end.
Agree to disagree.
Like,
I'm just happy that we're having debates about Champions League quarterfinals.
Yeah, and not debates about we're finishing 8th.
We're having debates about, okay, how do we beat Man City and go on to win the EPL? Like, that's the kind of debates that I want to have about this team. You know, I'm glad that's where we're at, because if we're at the 8th position and I'm trying to be positive about Arsenal, I know what I'm going to get. I know the amount of hate I'm going to get, like literally. You know, but you know, I'm glad I'm happy where we're at. I'm really, really happy where we're at. All I need now is a trophy, and I believe that Arteta can do it. I believe these boys can do it. I've never been so let me use the word relaxed. I won't say confident, but relaxed when they're playing. Like they're gonna get something. They're gonna get something, you know. And so yeah, man, hard and so.
Listen,
they're gonna do
100%. But I'll wrap this
Big
up
up, Martin.
That league will be everything. Like if we can win that league, we go like it ends like this. And I think everyone knows that, and that's why rival fans hate it, because they know once we win that league, it's peak. So listen, I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for coming on, Dale. Everything will be in
for having me.
The links and that. We'll be back again. We'll be talking we'll be doing a lot more of these. Now I'm back. I love talking, bro. I can talk forever and debate forever. So I know
I
you're
love it
all
too,
the
man.
so yeah. Listen, everyone, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yeah, hit the like button,
I-
people. Hit the like
yeah.
button. Share it. Copy this link. Go put it on your Twitter. Go back on your
Yep.
Twitter. Share it on your Twitter. Go and share it on your Insta. In fact, share it with your family first on your WhatsApp group. Tell everybody to
Yeah.
first come and
Hey,
like.
listen, if everyone does that, then you realize how the numbers grow. But yeah, listen, big
Yep.
up everyone in the chat for coming through and getting involved. Big up T every time. You got to come on as well. Big up Martin. Big up all the guys.
Yummy. Big up Yummy. Big up Sarita.
Big up. Thanks for coming. Peace.